Hello! So Nations League Match Day 3 has just happened, and as I did in the previous two videos, I'm going to be reviewing each of the matches, some more than others, but yeah, you all should be familiar with the format if you've already been watching, but if you haven't, feel free to check out the other videos. I'll leave a link in the description. I also noticed that a lot of you guys wanted me to predict these matchups. I didn't have enough time to do that, unfortunately, before the match day started. I already did a prediction video on where each of the nations would place in each group before this all started, but I'll probably do a finalized version once we're at the second to last or last match day, because why not? But I'll save it for then. Today we're just going to be reviewing everything, looking at all the groups and how they're placed so far. So yeah, without any further ado, let's begin. The first match we're going to be looking over is Luxembourg versus Cyprus. Luxembourg get a solid 2-0 win from a Sinani brace. Gets 2 goals early on in the game. Stats are looking super even, so this could have gone either way, but Luxembourg have honestly been surprising me. They've been doing really good so far. The other match in this group, Montenegro versus Azerbaijan. Jovetic and Ivanovic get on the score sheet to get Montenegro a solid 2-0 win. Azerbaijan failed to get a single shot on target, but they still put up a good fight. And Montenegro are looking flawless in this group so far. They've got 3 wins, 9 points, in first place in this group. Luxembourg also looking really solid, 2 wins, 1 loss, 6 points in second place. Azerbaijan third with only 1 win, and Cyprus in dead last with 3 losses, no points. Hopefully Montenegro can keep it up. It's nice to see them do well right now. I thought Azerbaijan would be a bit more of a threat in this group, but it ain't over. We're only halfway through at this point, so anything can happen. Next up, we got Liechtenstein versus Gibraltar. Gibraltar get an early goal. Even though they had less possession, they still managed to get a solid 1-0 win. Liechtenstein, looking at the stats, definitely looked more dominant, but couldn't do it at the end of the day. San Marino didn't play in this match day because there's only 3 teams in this group. But yeah, San Marino are in dead last, and Gibraltar are the only teams with no losses yet. They have 2 wins right now, first in this group. Let's see if they can keep going. Next up, we have Faroe Islands versus Latvia. Faroe Islands has also been a very surprising team to watch. They've been killing it in this group. Today, though, they only managed to get a draw. Still a decent result against Latvia. Both goals nearly at the same time around the 20th minute. Latvia only get 1 shot on target, but they did have a lot more opportunities than Faroe Islands. This match really could have gone either way, as the other ones have as well. Andorra versus Malta finishes 0-0. Andorra only had 27% possession, but they still managed to clinch a draw. They still had 9 opportunities, none on target. Latvia only had 1 shot on target, a lot of opportunities as well. And yeah, despite Faroe Islands getting a draw this match day, they still are first in this group. 7 points, 2 wins, 1 draw. Latvia second with 3 draws, no wins, no losses. That's super interesting. And then we got Malta with 2 draws, 1 loss, no wins, with 2 points. And Andorra the same actually. They have 2 points as well. So this group is still pretty open, but Faroe Islands have a very, very solid lead. Let's see if they can keep going. Their goals have been pretty impressive so far in this Nations League. Now we move on to Spain versus Switzerland. Spain get a 1-0 win over this solid Swiss side, and they definitely did experiment with their squad. They put in a lot of new players. Oyarzabal gets the only goal in the match. Traore just makes his debut. Olmo gets an appearance as well. It's nice to see they're trying to implement some changes and try new things out in this Nations League tournament, because they do really have an in-depth squad, and a lot of their star players are getting older. Not everyone on the starting lineup was a youngster, but a good amount were, so a 1-0 win against a very solid Swiss side isn't a bad result at all. Next up, Ukraine versus Germany. This match ends with a 2-1 victory for the Germans. Ginter and Goretzka get on the score sheet, and looking at the stats, the Germans were definitely the more solid team in this match. 73% possession, and they definitely had way more opportunities. Ukraine only had 27% possession, but they still managed to get a goal, although it was just a penalty. But still, surprisingly enough, this is Germany's first win in this Nations League tournament. They're sitting at second right now because they have 2 draws, 1 win, no losses. Spain, on the other hand, have 2 wins and 1 draw. So it looks like these two are going to be battling for first, but who knows? Either way though, Spain's lead is not very high yet. It's only by 2 points. Anything can happen. Ukraine sit at third and Switzerland sit at last. Next up, we got Ireland versus Wales, a 0-0 draw. McLean gets a red card in the 83rd minute, and that's honestly it. Nothing else has really happened in this match. The other match in this group, Finland versus Bulgaria. Finland get a solid 2-0 win against these guys. 2 goals in the second half. So even though Finland get this great win, they only sit at second because Wales are still in first by just 1 point. And then Ireland sit at third and Bulgaria are in last. Next up, we got Kazakhstan versus Albania. Looking at the stats, Albania looked like the more dominant side, but this match ends 0-0. Unfortunate for the Albanians. I thought they'd be able to dominate this group. But looking at the other results in this group, Lithuania and Belarus draw 2-2, which means now everyone in this group has 4 points. Albania are sitting at second, but it doesn't really mean much because, like I said, everyone has the same points. This group's really open for anybody. We'll see what happens in the second half of all of these matches. Hopefully Albania can pull through. We'll see though. Next up, we got Estonia versus North Macedonia. This ends at 3-3 a ridiculous draw. Stats looking fairly even. North Macedonia definitely had more possession, but this definitely was a crazy game, and North Macedonia did beat Kosovo a few days ago in the UEFA Euro 2020 playoffs, so I am a bit surprised they were able to slip in that many goals, but bravo to Estonia for pulling through. This is Estonia's first point in this group, but before we look at the group table, let's look at the other match in this group. Georgia versus Armenia. Another draw in this one, 2-2. Mkhitaryan's late penalty does save Armenia from not getting any points in this match, and it looks like the top three definitely have the best chance in doing well in this Nations League. North Macedonia with 5 points, Georgia with 4, Armenia with 4, Estonia with 1. All these sides are fairly even, so anything can really happen. Definitely those top three sides are very, very even, so it's going to be very interesting to see where each of these teams are going to finish at the end. Next up, we got Norway versus Romania. Despite Norway losing to Serbia in the playoffs, so now they're no longer qualified for Euro 2020, they managed to get a 4-0 win against Romania. A Haaland hat-trick and one Sorloth goal. They failed to be this dominant against Serbia, but it's also nice to see them picking up back their form. Obviously, this isn't Haaland's last chance to be in an international tournament like Euro 2020, so still has a shot. He's super young. I don't really feel bad for him yet, and I'm also happy Serbia were able to pull through as of now. Hopefully they can do well against Scotland. But yeah, the other match in this group, Northern Ireland versus Austria. Austria get a 1-0 victory against these guys who actually just beat Bosnia for the Euro playoff spot. Austria were looking a bit more dominant in this match, so a win seems pretty deserved. Austria and Norway sit at the top of this group with 6 points. Romania in third with 4. And Northern Ireland in last with just 1 point. Next up, Kosovo versus Slovenia. It sucks that Kosovo's best player, Rashica, is injured. Kosovo failed to get that Euro playoff spot as well after their loss against North Macedonia, which is super unfortunate, and now they can't beat Slovenia. Although Slovenia are a great side, you know, it's unfortunate for Kosovo. Vucicic's goal does make the difference for Slovenia. It's always hard to beat the best goalkeeper in the world, so can't really blame Kosovo for this loss, but it is unfortunate. Next up, we got Moldova versus Greece. Greece looked super dominant in this match, beating Moldova 2-0. One goal was a penalty, but look at these stats. Greece had over 80% possession. Moldova only had one shot with 19% possession. I mean, can't argue with this result at all. There's a huge point gap in this group. Greece and Slovenia do both have 7 points, but the bottom two teams, Kosovo and Moldova, only have 1. Next up, we got Scotland versus Slovakia. Both of these teams are eligible still for the Euros. They made it to the playoff spot. Barely, though. I think both of them did win on penalties. They're not even playing each other in the next round, but this match will definitely boost Scotland's confidence as they did win 1-0 against Slovakia. Dykes' only shot on goal was a difference for Scotland. I think they do need to improve their finishing a bit, but maybe they can beat Serbia. I do think Serbia do have the advantage against Scotland in the Euro playoffs, but we'll see what happens. Definitely can't mess with Scotland. They have some serious talent in there, but I think Serbia just have a bit of an edge right now. The other match in this group, Israel versus Czech Republic. Czech Republic get a 2-1 victory against these guys. Czech Republic only get one shot on target though, because one of the goals was an own goal. Interesting to see this result actually, but bravo to Czech Republic. They sit at second right now, but only by 1 point. Scotland in first with 7. Czech Republic in second with 6, Israel at third with 2, and Slovakia in last with just 1 point. Next up, we have Serbia versus Hungary. Serbia looked like the more dominant side in this match if you look at the stats, but they lost 1-0 against Hungary. You can't mess with Hungary at all. Like I said in my previous video, they're looking better and better. So they obviously were more clinical in this match. I keep mentioning the Euro playoffs, but yeah, both of these teams are still eligible for the Euro spot. There's a good test for both of them. Hopefully Serbia do fix their mistakes. Looks like starting Jovic was not the smartest move, even though Mitrovic did have a shaky game against Norway. I'm glad to see Jovic is back on the international team for sure, but looks like he didn't make a statement here. The other match in this group, Russia versus Turkey, ends in a draw 1-1. Russia's first non-victory. They still sit at first though. 2 wins, 1 draw. 7 points. Hungary in second with 6 points. Turkey in third with 2. And Serbia in last with just 1 point. Anything can turn around though. This group is pretty competitive. These results have been a bit all over the place. We'll see what happens. Next up, we got Bosnia versus Netherlands. Bosnia were heartbroken a few days ago after they failed to get that Euro playoff spot, but they did manage to secure a draw against this top side. Looking at the stats, Netherlands were way more dominant, but Bosnia were able to hold off against them. Looks like they have a much better defensive system worked out. It's a shame we can't see them in Euro 2020, but still proven to be a competitive team. They drew to Italy, and now they draw to Netherlands. Poland and Italy draw 0-0 as well, even though Italy were looking a bit more dominant than Poland. So although Poland and Bosnia are in the second half of the table, they're still making the battle between Italy and Netherlands a very competitive one. Both failed to get a solid lead, so Italy sit at first still, but only with 5 points, while Netherlands sit at second with 4th. So It's a very close battle, and who knows, Poland or Bosnia can come back from this. Next up, we got England versus Belgium. England beat this Belgium side 2-1, a very impressive win. Stats looking even. There were 2 penalties for both teams, but Mason Mount makes a difference for England. Bravo to him. This allows England to top this group. Belgium usually do really well in these types of tournaments, in the group stage at least, so it was a bit surprising result to see. I honestly did think Belgium would be able to get that first place spot, and they still have a chance, but England take the edge now with 7 points in this group, and Belgium are at 6. Interesting race. Now we got Iceland versus Denmark. Denmark managed to beat these guys 3-0. Iceland did get that win against Romania a few days ago, but they are looking a bit shaky for this group. They have 3 losses now. Denmark are sitting at 3rd with 4 points. Now we've got Portugal versus France. This match finishes 0-0. Everyone was anticipating this match, as the last time they did play was in Euro 2016 in the final. Ronaldo, Mbappe, the 2 stars failed to do anything, but it was still a competitive match. This allows both of these sides to get the same amount of points, 7 for the first 2 spots, while Croatia and Sweden are down below. But Croatia do pull a win today against Sweden, 2-1. It was a very tough match for Croatia, but they did manage to pull through at least. Kramaric's late goal in the 84th minute makes a difference. They only got 3 points now, but hopefully this does give them some confidence, so when they do face top sides like France and Portugal, they can actually pull off decent results, something other than a loss. They did play well against France, but France are a bit more clinical, so it is what it is. Really looking forward to the next set of matches for Croatia though. Glad to see Modric back as well. We definitely missed him. So yeah, that's the end of this video. I did zoom through some of these, but we do have another match day ahead of us very soon, so I will be doing a video on that as well. Match day 4 definitely has some interesting matches lined up. So if you aren't subscribed to this channel already, please do, so you're notified for the next match day review. And if you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button. I'll definitely be seeing all of you in a few days. Lock noite.